I'd like to call the meeting to order. Christina, will you please lead us in the pledge?
Stand to your right hand of your heart and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to read something into the minutes. Pursuant to state law 54963B, Councilmember Chris Carolla will attend the meeting via phone at 211 4th Street, 3G02 entrance, apartment 3110, North Little Rock, Arkansas. The meeting agenda will be posted in this location, which is open to the public more than 24 hours before the meeting. Any interested member of the public may join Councilmember Chris Carolla at this location. Georgie, would you do a roll call, please?
Councilmember Garola.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Villaseñor.
Here.
Mayor Austin.
Here.
Councilmember Mendez.
Here.
Councilmember Brogy. Absent.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 5A, a proclamation of the Constitution Week, honoring and recognizing September 17th through the September 23rd, 23.
Sorry, Mayor, just a point of order on approval of agenda, number 4.
Oh, okay. We'll go backwards.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right,
Motion
okay.
to approval agenda.
All right, so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Or Georgie, do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Garola.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Villaseñor.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendez.
Yes.
Okay, now on to the agenda. We move on to item number 5A, proclamation of Constitution Week, honoring and recognizing September 17th through September 23 as Constitution Week. Whereas September 17th marks the 236th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the magnificent document and the anniversary of its creation, and whereas it's fitting and proper to officially recognize the patriotic celebrations which commenced the occasion. I'm having problems seeing tonight. I'm not wearing my reading glasses. Whereas we want to invite the entire community to take part and celebrate the ideals and contributions made to the Fillmore. And whereas a public law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, Mark Austin, Mayor of the City of Fillmore, hereby proclaims September 17th, and through September 23rd as Constitution Week in the City of Fillmore. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 5B, an active adult presentation presented by the AAC staff.
Alrighty. Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Julian Zendejas. I am the coordinator at the Active Adult Center of Fillmore. I want to thank you for inviting me to be able to do this presentation and to share everybody at home and just to spread the word that we're finally open. It's been 4 months since we've opened, and I'm going to be able to share with everybody what we offer over at the Active Adult Center. Our biggest service is the congregate and home delivery meals. We serve about a little bit over 40 people every day, and that consists of mainly a protein, a salad, milk, yogurt, and some fruit every day. And that's what mainly is what's going on at the moment. We do offer exercise classes and fitness classes. Some examples would be like line dancing, Tai Chi and lifting weights. A lot of the seniors prefer, or they really favor the lifting weights. They really love doing that. But yeah. As for what else we offer, we do offer arts and crafts. That happens every other Thursday. And the teacher, Aurora, lovely lady, she is amazing. Everybody in this photo right here made this last week on Thursday, and basically making crafts when it comes to the season. So as an example right here, it's the coming of fall and Halloween, so they made little pumpkins for being able to have decorations at home. And I also do provide paperwork, assistance with paperwork, helping people with resumes, helping with getting jobs, and etc. We do hold, slowly adding more stuff, but we are holding small events that happen throughout the month. Recently, we just started doing movie days. So we would set up a projector in the main room, and then we'll watch a movie together. We'll offer popcorn and have a good time. Every so often, we'll do like a little loteria or a bingo, and we'll go out and receive donations as prizes. And a lot of the seniors really favor the bingo. And we do hold one big luncheon every month. This luncheon consists of, for example, we held a special like Hawaii themed, and we did like Hawaiian chicken, and basically just being able to serve something that we wouldn't normally do. So like previously we did offer donuts in the morning with some coffee. And we did offer Jamaica and lemonade on the side. And yeah, that's what's the events that are happening. This is the September calendar. Mondays, we'll have Tai Chi and Zumba in the evening. Tuesdays is the seated exercise. That's the one with lifting weights. A lot of the seniors favor that one. We do have line dancing. The lovely ladies that do the line dancing they all have such great character. And just seeing them dance and just practice and practice, it really makes me happy just seeing them. And one time they had some students back in the summer that wanted to participate, and they really enjoyed that. So anybody is really welcome to come and have some fun. Arts and crafts happens every other Thursday. That is the only thing that's happening on Thursday. And we're recently adding the every other Friday when we're open. We want to do that bingo and loteria just to finish off the week. And on the 28th, we'll have that movie day, and we'll be watching the original Karate Kid. Lunch is served 11:30 to 12:30. We do have the library and the pool table. That's available when we're open from 8 to 1. And assistance with paperwork, just let me know. I'm always willing to help. And lastly, a PSA. We're really looking for anybody who's willing to volunteer in starting a group. We want to start. That's like the big thing I'm really looking for is some people, volunteers, willing to start groups like a coffee club, book club, any club, really. I'm open to anything. And also looking for some volunteers for driving. I am currently the only one that's doing the driving, and I do like 25 homes every day. And so it would be really nice to have some drivers and some volunteers in that department. And that should be the presentation. If there's any questions, please.
Chris, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thank you, though, for your work there at the Active Adult Center, and we really appreciate you being a major part in getting it back on its feet.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Julian. Appreciate it. Great presentation. Just a question about, you say there's about 40 meals that are made more or less every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
We serve at least 40 people, about that range, maybe a little bit above, a little bit below. Right now, because it's summer, a lot of people are out with family, vacation, so our numbers may be a little low, but in general, we serve about 40, just a little bit over 40 people every day.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's great work. And I was just wondering, I know things really went down in the pandemic when, the center was closed and we were still putting meals out there. But do you happen to know, like on average, have we always been around that, or do we used to serve a lot more? I'm just wondering if you
In the past, from what I can tell, we did. I'd say we served just about the same, but recently now a lot of people are finally figuring out that we're open again. A lot of people still don't know, and our numbers are slowly rising, and we expect it to rise a little bit higher, maybe in the 50s or 60 range.
Okay, great. Yeah, hopefully we can just keep doing as a city, reaching out and flyering and just spreading word of mouth too to get more people to come. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and it's very, very important work. And I had a question about the Zumba class. On the Zumba classes, anybody can attend?
Yes, of course. Anybody is able to participate.
Okay, thank you. I might take my dad one day. He likes it.
Yeah.
There you go. I think the Zumba is it's a community event. I think they used to have it at the Memorial Building. That's been moved to the Senior Center, I think. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jillian.
It seems that you really enjoy your job. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, we're now going to move on to public comments. You have a 3-minute time limit. When you hit 30 seconds, the yellow light will come on. When your time's up, you'll hit the red light. First speaker is Susan Johnson.
Good evening, City Council. I'm Susan Johnson. I am Fillmore's representative on the board of the Ventura County Area Housing Authority. I'm in favor of more affordable housing and less market rate housing. I'm a number of people who live south of 126 in the new market rate housing. I've heard them express their concerns over the homeless encampment in the riverbed. I need to say up front that I have no quarrel with their complaints. If I had paid an enormous amount of money for a big house on a small lot in a rural area famous for its view shed and found out that my view included a view of a homeless encampment, I'd be complaining too. I know that one of the complaints about affordable housing is that they don't pay property tax, so the city loses out on that revenue source. However, people who live in affordable housing shop, eat, work, play in the town where they live. So while the city loses some taxes, they gain other taxes. They also gain a group of people who participate in city activities. Their children attend local schools and play on local sports teams. They shop at Vons, Rite Aid, and Super 8, and small markets downtown. They eat out when they can afford it at local places, and they buy their groceries and gasoline in Fillmore. Housing south of town is really more of a suburb of Santa Clarita. The people who live there often work, eat, play, and shop in LA County. This is clearly a generalization, but a very accurate one. Many of their children attended school in LA County. In many cases, they don't have time to participate in activities that go on in Fillmore. I don't blame them. Who wouldn't want to eat at an Olive Garden if you worked east of here? Why not go to the College of the Canyons rather than Ventura College? And why not shop at a Whole Foods and go to plays and concerts in LA County? But those taxes also go to LA County. Notwithstanding, most cities receive less than 20% of the property tax that is paid. Sales tax, on the other hand, stays primarily in the area where it's generated. Even if we ignore the financial advantages of affordable housing, what about the social effects? Safe, decent, and affordable housing affects every aspect of a family's life. Children who live in safe, affordable shelter do better in school at all levels. Children who live in affordable housing are healthier, experience less chronic illness like diabetes, allergies, and stress, and makes less visits to the doctor. It's like choosing to direct your tax money to taking care of those with chronic illnesses or building affordable housing and trying to prevent them. Youth who live in safe and decent housing have a better chance of not ending up in the juvenile justice system. If you have to pay taxes, and you do, affordable housing, you can choose to pay for more policing, better juvenile justice, better prisons, or affordable housing. I've heard it said that affordable housing will ruin the neighborhood. Oh, please. I'd like to opine that you will get taxed unless you're very rich or very poor. So you might as well choose where your money should go. Should it go to preventing chaos or dealing with the after effects of chaos? Thank you very much for listening, and I leave you with the thought of affordable housing as a cheaper and more beneficial than in most other ways that your tax dollars might be spent. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is, I apologize if I botched your last name, Gabrielle
Johnson.
Viganon.
Oh, it's you. Okay.
Hi, Gabrielle Vignon here with the Fillmore Piru Task Force from House Farm Workers, and I'm actually here to say thank you, Mayor, City Council members, and staff. We came to you a couple of times and asked about Fillmore Terrace, and we've heard that that is being able to move along. So we want to thank you for that opportunity, and also for keeping us in the loop about the housing element. We know there's a draft submitted to HCD, and it will be coming up for comment soon. So if you can keep keeping us in the loop, we would appreciate that. That's all.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Brandy Hollis.
Good afternoon. Just a couple things real quick. September 11th festivities honoring those that fell on 9/11. It didn't seem like the city of Fillmore really did any outreach. I noticed the city website didn't have anything about the, what was going on. Neither did the police department website till afterwards. Same with the fire. I just know a lot of citizens would have liked to have been involved and had asked me. I was aware it was 9/11. I knew what time it was going on, but a lot of people were not. And I just think that's something we could do better as a city. Also, I wanted to say thank you, Public Works. They have been on top of all our issues at the fields, very responsive, and it's great to come up and say thank you. And then one last thing is I had a question. I know our city was hit really hard on Labor Day with graffiti and tagging, and I stumbled onto quite a bit of it. Do we have a hotline for, just tagging removal in the city of Fillmore? If somebody can clarify, that would be amazing. I know Oxnard has something like this. I'm not sure if Fillmore does.
I think we have an app. Am I right? Does the app still work where you can put graffiti and junk?
A hotline number? Okay, great, thanks. I wasn't sure. I haven't had a chance to research it, but I wanted to ask while I was up here. But I would just love to see, I want to make sure nobody ever forgets what happened on 9/11, and that includes the city and the citizens. So hopefully next year we can do more to include the citizens of Fillmore. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 7, City Council reports, recommendations, and comments. Chris, is there anything from you?
Yes, if you'll be patient, as I'd like to just read in honor of our declaration of Constitution Week. Directly from constitution.congress.gov, the preamble, I think, is very important to focus on, and the First Amendment, so please bear with me. The preamble: we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. The First Amendment: Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Thank you those who got up and spoke at public comments today. I know that especially as we continue to recover from post-pandemic lockdowns, and kind of reuniting ourselves as a community. I think Fillmore has a special place, not only in our nation, but especially in the state of California, to really live out and exemplify the values of our nation. Thank you so much for attending tonight's meeting, and we look forward to our future and our ability to represent the interests of Fillmore, but especially the interests of our nation.
Is that all, Chris?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I have a couple of reports, but I think that will come under our board, commission, and committee reports. But I just wanted to make a comment. Just thanking once again all the residents here in Fillmore for being at our meetings, for speaking up, for sharing their concerns. I know there's folks in this room who are just regularly passionate about several issues or a couple specific issues, and thank you for just continuing to talk with us, to share, and to engage and to hold us accountable as a city. I have several examples of people and recently who've pushed for things to come into fruition, and thank you for being the advocates that you are. So that's just sort of a broad comment I wanted to make, and I always just wanted to remind the public that you are invited to always contact us as council members through email, through our phone numbers, to coming to council, contacting us on social media, because we're here to hear your concerns and to do the best that we can. So please, those that are listening, please know that us as your council, that we are here for you. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Albert, anything? Okay. I have nothing either, so we're going to move on to item number 8, consent calendar. Can I have a motion to approval of the consent calendar?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Georgie, will you do a roll call, please?
Councilmember Garola,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Villaseñor,
Yes.
Mayor Austin,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendez.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 9, new business. 9A, consideration and approval of professional services agreement between the City of Fillmore and Wildan Financial Services for the preparation of a comprehensive user fee study and development impact study.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members and residents of Fillmore. Tonight, we're here to recommend City Council to approve and authorize the city manager to execute the attached professional services agreement that was included in your agenda packet, to not exceed the amount of $100,000 between the City of Fillmore and Wildan Financial Services for the preparation of 2 studies. The first one will be the comprehensive user study, and the second one will be the development impact fee study. To provide you a little bit of background, the comprehensive user study and cost allocation plan was part of the adoption of Proposition 13, which was established in 1978. A series of state legislations has established limitations on local government revenue, and due to the enactment of such legislation, cities have little control on the options on how we can go about increasing or generating new revenue to cover different programs or services that are being provided by the city. One mechanism by which we can achieve to do this, which is recovering a portion of the cost associated with providing a service or a program, is through what it's called a user fee. Local governments typically adopt user fees to offset that cost of providing services or programs to individuals or companies. And the basis of this is because typically if the program or the service is not going to benefit the entire city, then it's passing on the burden to the person who's going to be putting on that service or program. Sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes, we are very different than the public sector. We cannot establish fees to generate revenue. The only thing we can establish a fee for is to cover the cost of a program or a service that it's being provided. There's times where City Council may opt or determine that it's reasonable for offering a service without covering the entire cost or recovering that revenue. And you do that by subsidizing a portion that you're not able to cover from like the general fund. So that's in a nutshell how the user fee is set up. We also want to make sure that we include the cost allocation plan as part of the study, because we want to calculate any sort of services that are being the operation cost to provide those services. We haven't had a formal study done since about 2015-16, so it's been a while, and I think it's time for us to take a holistic look at how we're billing and the fee structures. The second part of the study is the development impact fees, or the DIF that we usually reference to. So to provide you a little bit of background, development impact fees are fees imposed by local government on new development projects to finance the acquisition, construction, and improvement of public facilities and infrastructure needed to serve those projects. The rationale behind this goes with you're developing a new building or a new community that's going to have an impact on the infrastructure from your city, hence you will have the developer pay for that cost. There is a government code section, which is commonly known as the Mitigation Fee Act, which was recently amended July 1st of 2022 to be specific. And the way how these fees are calculated is different on how the city is currently doing it. So this is why we are asking City Council to approve this study so that we can do both of the studies simultaneously. We do need a third-party consultant to do this just so that we can have the information backed up, and if we are audited, we can have their expertise. And then we will bring that forward once we have the studies to council for consideration. So that concludes my presentation, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Chris, do you have any questions?
None at this time.
Okay.
No questions, Mayor, but I do have a comment, and that is, Erika, I want to thank you for your great report right now verbally, and then also for answering a lot of the questions that came to my mind initially, and that is, the cost of doing this study, and seeing that it's pretty up there. And my initial question was, well, why? And it's really explained. It explains very in-depthly in our packet here about the scope of work, the number of activities, sort of the different, procedures that have to happen, one after the other, 10 for the first fee study, 10 for the next, and also the timeline and the people involved at Wilden that it'll take. So it was just a great explanation of why, the fee study, is that amount of money, and what we're going to get from it is really valuable. And I also looked up to how often these happen. And it sounds like we're right on time, or even maybe a couple of years behind what should be our next study. So, yeah, just want to make that comment.
Thank
That's
you.
good. Thank you.
Albert?
I just wanted to thank staff for their hard work and preparing this. It's time to do it. I think it's important. So thank you so much.
And with that, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Okay, I will motion that the council approves and authorizes the city manager to execute the attached professional services agreement not to exceed the amount of $100,000 between the city of Fillmore and Wilden Financial Services.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Georgie, will you do roll call, please?
Councilmember Garola,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Villaseñor,
Yes.
Mayor Austin,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendez.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 9B, approval of the sale of 2 acres of land located at northeast corner of Mountain View and Santa Clara Streets, assessor parcel number 050083-238 for less than fair market value, and authorization the execution of a corrected deed restriction for this property.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be presenting this item to you all as the successor agency for the dissolved Fillmore Redevelopment Agency, because this land is successor agency land, which really means that the council oversees it as a custodian for the state. And when the state dissolved the successor agencies about 10 years ago, they directed the city as a custodian to sell this piece of property, which is it's about 2 acres located at the northeast corner of Mountain View and Santa Clara. At the time we were directed to sell it, it was subject to a disposition and development agreement for part of it to be developed into housing. And that developer in 2021 ended up walking away from the project. So we have that land available and started the Surplus Land Act process to be able to sell that property. No one was interested in the property at the time because it's very small. But then last year, the user of the larger part of the property, which was the railroad, gave up its lease, and so suddenly the entire parcel was available. And so then when we started going through the Surplus Land Act process, we heard from many mansions that they would like to consider buying the entire site. So that's what's before you tonight, is the proposal from many mansions to buy the site for $1. So if you agree to do that, it needs to go to the Ventura County Oversight Board for approval. And then, as with any successor agency property, it also has to go to the Department of Finance. And then it would also have to go to HCD because it is surplus land. But their ultimate goal is to have the land go to an affordable housing developer. So I think all of the agencies will be happy with the proposal. And we have a representative from Many Mansions here tonight, and he would like to give a brief proposal of what they're planning to do as well. I just wanted to give you a few deal points. Many Mansions is the developer in town that you're all familiar with that developed our recent award-winning project, and so we're excited to see what they're going to do here with a slightly different Monterey style. Their offer was only for $1, not the fair market value of the property, but we didn't have part of it appraised, so we're not sure what that value is. But we did ask them 3 things. We asked, one, that they continue the bike path that is planned to go through that property that the prior developer was refusing to do, and they agreed to that. We asked that they agree that they'll underground all utilities on site, and they agreed to that. And we asked that they have a mix of affordability units, including some moderate income units, and they agreed to that. So those terms would be in the purchase agreement if you approve the sale tonight.
Okay.
And with that, I'll let Ryan Ortiz, the senior project manager, give a presentation, and then you can ask our questions if you have any after that. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here to present in front of the City of Fillmore and the City Council. I was wondering, are we able to pull up the items on the staff report by chance, just so folks can follow along? I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right person. Thank you so much. While we're waiting for that, thank you very much. At this point in time, I'd like to discuss kind of our objectives as we decide to move forward with this this purchase and sale agreement. There's always a need for affordable housing, right? In this community, it's no different. We are proposing to develop 48 affordable units in one 2-bedroom manager unit as well. We have a mix of affordability between 30% AMI, 60% AMI, and 80% AMI for an average affordability of 58% AMI. Thank you. And we are working closely with the Community Development Department to ensure that the physical design of Mountain View Phase 2 is something that, similarly to Mountain View Phase 1, Fillmore can be proud of. It's something that residents are going to want to move into, with the emphasis of having a lower threshold of AMI restrictions so more residents can apply and move into them. That being said, let me go through here a second. As you can see, we are focusing on pleasant views from the street. We're making sure that the Monterey style architectural design in the courtyard is observed and is incorporated. This was a request from the City of Fillmore. We are waiting comments back, but we've agreed to the conditions that have been put in front of us to date, including a long list of things that we're happy to accommodate the City of Fillmore with. And hold on one moment. Yeah, so at this point in time, I guess I mostly am here for questions, honestly. If there's anything that the City Council would like to ask me directly, I'd be happy to speak on that. But at this point, kind of preliminary, a lot of the design work that has been done and a lot of the conditions that we have agreed to and will be incorporated at a later time. But we need to assess initial feasibility first for the site. Thank you.
Chris, do you have any questions? Chris? Mr. dropped off. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation.
Of course, thank you.
So one of the key questions always that comes up, of course, is the parking.
Right.
So how is the parking situation looking? And is it 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 3-bedroom units? Is that right?
We have 24 one-bedroom units, 13 two-bedroom units, and 12 three-bedroom
12,
units.
okay.
And to
Okay.
speak to your parking question,
Yes, thanks.
we are not only including 80 parking spots on site, we are making sure that the parking is incorporated into the design of the building. So we'll have tuck-under parking for residents. I believe it is 42 of the 80 will be tuck-under, and the remaining 38 will be covered spaces as well. So portions will be in the building and portions will be covered.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I don't know, this might be more of a city question, but has there been any talk of Mountain View Street in front? I know right now it's parallel parking. Has there been any talk of making diagonal on one side?
There hasn't, I don't remember discussions of that. I do remember traffic calming conversations in terms of bulbing out the north and the south portions of Mountain View Street to make sure that safe flow of traffic is occurring. We intend to have residents participating on both properties as a benefit of having a development right next door. We want to leverage the opportunity of the adjacent facility, especially considering the constraints of the smaller site. Smaller is relative. It seems as though it's doubled in size since the last developer has had this opportunity, but nothing regarding angled parking, but that's something we can definitely discuss.
Okay. All right, thank you. And my one other follow-up question is kind of led into that when you talked about sort of a smaller area, but have the benefits of the other side of Mountain View. So the community room that I think is getting a lot of use and people really love, is there one on this site, or would the residents be able to use the community room on the Mountain View site?
There'll be smaller amenities on this particular site, but we intend on growing that particular community and leveraging the existing site to make sure that the residents at this site have an opportunity to use facilities as well.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Of course.
I have nothing but I just want to thank you for doing this project, and your first project is amazing, and I know you'll do an excellent job in creating something special here that'll fit in the community and serve our residents well.
Thank you. I'm going to remember that during all the late nights and all the funding applications.
Right. Exactly.
I'm sure working with Kevin, it'll come out spectacular. Thank you.
And I want to commend you that you guys are a great company to work with. I've heard nothing but raving things from all staff. You basically get along with. I mean, you guys are doing a good job.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being invited back into a community that's a rare thing for developers generally, and I'm proud to work for this company.
Okay. With that, would we entertain a motion?
Yes, I
Can
will.
everyone hear me real quick?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you have any
Back on,
questions,
Chris?
Chris?
Sorry, yeah, no, I heard most of it. I don't know why you couldn't hear me, but I was just curious. There's a couple of the diagrams. There's a connection to phase one. Is that at street level, or is that considered something up above? I just wasn't sure. It just stood out to me.
Yeah, it looks as so. I'm not sure. This actually, this particular design, since submitting this this plan back to the Planning Commission, we're actually one of the ideas that have been passed along to us in advance of those formal comments is aligning the intersections to make sure that there's a safer flow of traffic. So the connection, I believe this connection to phase one was going to be a formal foot traffic path, but that's going to be changing likely. Is there any other comments on that?
Okay, no, thank you. That
Wonderful.
provides some clarity. It almost looked like potentially an overhead walkway, which I wasn't sure. But anyway, thank you for that clarity, and I look forward to continuing to work with you guys through the city.
Likewise.
Okay, with that, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion that the City Council adopts Resolution 23-1 to approve the sale of 2 acres of land in the northeast corner of Mountain View to many mansions for $1 pursuant to the purchase and sale agreement in the form approved by the city attorney and city manager, and that we also direct staff to present the proposed sale to the Ventura County Consolidated Oversight Board for approval, and then if approved, to the California Department of Housing and Community Development and the California Department of Finance.
With that, can I entertain a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. George, would you roll call, please?
Councilmember Garola,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Villaseñor,
Yes.
Mayor Austin,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendez.
Yes.
Okay. With that, we're moving on to item number 10,
Thank you.
committee,
Thank you.
commission, and board reports. Do you have anything, Chris?
No, I don't.
Okay. Christina?
I do, Mayor. Thank you. I haven't given an update on our Ventura County Regional Sanitation District Board. As I like to say, people ask me, how's it going? I say, well, we do a lot of trash talk. The district's actually doing very well. And the update is that the Tolan landfill, this is what's of most concern for Fillmore, the Tolan landfill previously was aimed to reach capacity and close in 2027. However, years ago, that was changed per the Ventura County Regional Sanitation District and Tolan landfill under conditional use permits. And so there's 3 things that need to happen and 2 that continuously need to happen. One was a traffic study. That was something that the residents wanted, and also Santa Clara School, right there at Tolan Road and 126. The sanitation district brought people together to help facilitate that study, and that was the role of sanitation district, and that has happened. It doesn't look like there is a change in traffic and any happening due to this, but the people, the powers that be, and the stakeholders were brought together around this, and they did discuss this. The other 2 are a dust control study looking at sort of particulate matter coming up from Tolan landfill, and that is ongoing, and they're working with the local ranchers and property owners up there to have that. And the other was don't have the other word for it, but basically it was sort of an odor, looking at odor and the spread of odor and how that might be a nuisance, again, to the property owners up there. And the sanitation district is continuing to do that. So in terms of them doing these things as a conditional use, the Tolan landfill is not due to close any longer in 2027 and will continue to operate as long as these conditions are being met, and they're sort of not going over any sort of levels that are designated as harm per the environment. So just wanted to give that update. The landfill, if anyone's to the landfill goes up there, they're getting a new flare. This is a big deal, and it's basically helping to burn off those, the gases. And so this flare is being shipped from somewhere in Arkansas, and it's, like on a couple of different big trucks, and it has like a whole, what do you call it? You have like an escort basically driving across the country just to come to the Tolan landfill and to replace our previous flare. So it's an interesting update on the sanitation district. On Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance, the County of Ventura has received a climate pollution reduction grant, and this is to work on a regional climate action plan so that the County of Ventura, all the cities, community, nonprofit stakeholders, VCTC, and it's the Air Pollution Control Board, remember my acronyms, they're starting, this is a grant basically for them to come together to meet and to work on a regional action plan. So that's just getting kicked off right now. And let me see here, there are a few updates. The National Drive Electric Week is coming up, and if you go to the Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance website, they'll have more information about that. And also Piru Library, not our Fillmore Library, but Piru Library, and hopefully our library will continue to participate as a partner in sustainable living. And sort of they have toolkits about how to reduce energy in your home. And they also have a toolkit, which I think is very good for our Fillmore community to know about how to reduce your water use also in your home. And so as we have new water rate, how we calculate water rates has changed in Fillmore. And so again, information's gone out on our water bills about how to conserve water in your household. I'm going to try to see if I can work with the Fillmore Library and bring this toolkit and sort of spread word in town for families, and maybe get the kids involved again. How do we learn to conserve more water in our household? So I thought that was very interesting. And that was my 2 updates. Thank you.
Albert, you have anything? Okay. I have nothing, so we're moving on. Item number 11, city manager's verbal report.
I'd like to call up Lalo real quick, talk about graffiti. Real quick.
What was that?
Lalo's gonna come, Lalo.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to briefly speak about, I know Mrs. Hall has brought up the vandalisms from Labor Day weekend. We did get hit pretty hard that weekend, specifically that Saturday night into Sunday morning. We did make an arrest of a local resident that was responsible for, we believe, maybe 4 or 5 different vandalisms. So I just wanted to point that out. And then also, too, I know she mentioned the hotline. I think it's good for people to know that we do have a hotline. They can call the city at 524-1500 and then hit option 4 and option 3 to report the vandalisms. And that's in addition to, obviously, calling the police department if they observe vandalism in progress or vandalism in general. They can call us. We can send a deputy out, record the vandalism, make note of it, and hopefully we can do some investigative work and tie it to a responsible party. I think that's it. I know we work closely with Troy. I know they got a lot on their plate, but we do communicate with them about these vandalisms, and the hope is that we clear it up as soon as possible. So, any other questions on that?
Chris, you have any questions?
No, thank you.
I do, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. I happened to notice that weekend, this is just a question, I go a lot into Santa Paula, and I saw a lot of vandalism in Santa Paula. Do you know if there's any connection beyond our town to anything?
We have seen some Santa Paula vandalism, graffiti here in town as well. So, yeah, I mean, there is a connection.
Okay.
Nothing of concern as far as rivalries between gangs.
Right.
The stuff we are seeing is more tagging crews and like solo individual type people, and not necessarily gangs.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I just remember that Monday morning, seeing things on my route to Santa Paula that I hadn't seen before. So, yeah, vandalism. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That's it? Okay. We're going to go to item number 12, closed session. We're going to go into closed session for 3 items. City Council will conduct a closed session pursuant to confer with legal counsel regarding litigation in which the city is party. The title of the litigation is as follows: in the matter of appeal of cities of Fillmore, City of Los Angeles, Ontario, Palm Springs, San Diego, San Jose, and County of Sacramento. The other case we're going to go into closed session about is, I'm going to open this up. The city will conduct a closed session because there is a significant exposure to litigation in one case. The city will confer with the city manager, city attorney, and assistant city manager regarding the possible participation in amicus brief. We're going to go into item number C, which our third item is the city council will conduct a closed session because there is significant exposure in litigation in one case. The facts and circumstances giving rise to exposure to litigation are that the city received a demand letter to switch to voting districts. So we're going to go to closed session. Okay, the city council met in closed session on 3 items. 2 items involved updating the council. There was no reportable action. On the 3rd item, the council voted unanimously to join an amicus brief in support of the city of Grant's pass to the U.S. Supreme Court. With that, I'm going to close the meeting in remembrance of the 9/11 victims who died. So I'd like to adjourn the meeting to our next regularly scheduled meeting at 6:30 on Tuesday, September 26th in City Hall. Meeting adjourned.